business.
Evan, what do you make of that? Not just the lingering enmity that there may be over the salary cap provisions that the league whacked the Redskins for, but also the fact that, speaking frankly, Dan Snyder is objectively perceived to be not seen as a popular owner and not having a lot of goodwill to play with here.
You know, Snyder's been a lightning rod throughout the years. I mean, everybody really knows that. So, and the salary cap thing, you know, really got under certainly his skin and the Redskins organization's skin. I mean, we really view that as John Mara, the Giants owner, abusing his privilege within the league office to kind of nail a couple of teams in his own division. Now, that has not gone over very well, and I think even the media has said, you know what, that was a little bit, that might have been collusion. Certainly it was from arrogance on the league office's part, so they've taken it on the chin in the court of public opinion for sure on that issue. Are they trying to use this to smooth it out? I couldn't tell you. You'd have to ask Roger Goodell that. But I really think at the end of the story is that, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, most of the people that seem to be really passionate about this issue are the upper level people in the Native American community, where we've been contacted on sonofwashington.com by Native Americans, one in particular who we really made an effort to make sure that this person was legitimate and tracing them back when they contacted us. He said, we have A, B, and C issues in our community. This issue, the Redskins name change, it's not even a Z issue. So there are such horrific problems within the Native American community. Why this issue keeps on coming up, I mean, I think that a lot of people are just kind of grandstanding on a hot-button issue to draw attention to themselves, to
Mike?
be honest with you.
Yeah, if I could jump in, Evan. With all due respect, I am on the Pine Ridge Reservation. I didn't seek out this issue today. A couple people asked me about it, and of the 10 people I encountered at a gas station 10 miles from here, one of them said he really didn't care that the reservation had bigger problems. 8 of them came out and said it's disparaging to us and I don't want my kids to be a John Wayne stereotype anymore, and it does filter down. And so this isn't the upper echelon of a reservation life. These aren't the tribal leaders. These are the people that live here. So I would ask anyone to go to the Oneida Reservation, go to Ridge Reservation, go to the Crow Agency in Montana, and you'll find that you won't see any garb, you won't see any burgundy and gold, and in fact you'll find a lot of people who don't like the name.
Greg, can I ask you, what sort of conversations, if any, have you or members of the Oneida Nation had with the NFL on this issue?
Well, we haven't had any. We've written a letter. We hope there might be a dialogue. We agree with Art Monk.
Did they respond at all?
Of course, that I haven't gotten a response yet. And, you know, one thing I'd like to say is that, you know, while people do think that this may not be a significant issue, it is. I mean, it's a dehumanizing aspect. When you start relegating people, we're not just mascots, we're not relics, we're people with children. It's all about the kids in the future and their self-perception. Some of the highest teen suicide rates are on Indian reservations among Indian people. That has to do with their self-esteem, their self-perception. And here we have a team that's representing the nation's capital, not just to America, but the rest of the world. And that's significant that people are using a racial epithet as part of a name to sell to America. And that's an important issue, the way our people perceive ourselves, our children perceive ourselves in the future. And that's why what the Cooperstown kids did, I think, was so significant. Yes, there's other issues, but dehumanizing and trivializing who we are has repercussions to other issues. It makes other issues that are significant trivialized and treat us differently and less than who we are, which we are. We're Americans.
And even though you are offended by this, it's interesting with the commissioner saying what he said. The NFL has not responded to the Oneida Nation. Andrew, sketch a timeline here, a realistic timeline where this would be taken out of Daniel Snyder's hands. I mean, he said it's not going to change. Put it in caps. I mean, that's a red line. We've heard a lot of that with Syria. Okay, we don't know how much that'll stand. When and if could this change?
It's a long time, right? But listen, I think nothing happens in a vacuum. Everything is related to what's going on around it. You've heard the piece. In May, there were letters written by many congressional leaders. In August, ironically enough, what brought this to the forefront again is Riley Cooper's comments, because it put out there an insensitive remark with one group of people, And it sort of put out there, hey, what about another group of people? That bubbled up the conversation. And now, ironically, today, the Redskins are playing in Green Bay, where Oneida Nation is, and there's going to be protests. There's timing involved in all of this. In terms of when it sort of reaches a critical mass, I would suggest the next point may be the owners' meeting in late October, kind of a mid-season meeting where everything is reviewed, what went on in the season so far, where we're going. That may be something we look for in mid-October.
All right, and so the question comes, at what point will there be seen looking back as an inflection point on this? Gentlemen, thanks. Wish we had more time. Evan Redmond, Ray Helbritter, Mike Wise, Andrew Brandt, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. You can continue the conversation on our Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter at Bob Lee ESPN. Download our podcast or subscribe for free at iTunes. We are standing by for sports reporters.